Hello, and welcome to This Thing Called Life, a podcast dedicated to sharing stories about acts of giving, kindness, compassion, and humanity. Your host, Andy Johnson, will introduce you to powerful stories about organ, eye, and tissue donation from individuals, families, and healthcare teams whose experiences will inspire you and remind you that while life is hard, unpredictable, and imperfect, it's also beautiful. We're so happy you're here. Now let's join the show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to This Thing Called Life. I'm your host, Andy Johnson, and I am so excited to have you tuning in with us today. We're going to have some powerful conversation that I'm just very rich in culture and community, and I'm really excited to introduce my guest. We have with us the esteemed Imam Hossam Musa. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
My pleasure.
So, Imam Musa, if you could just start by talking about your journey to becoming an imam, and also if you could educate those listening and tuning in as to what an imam actually is.
Thank you, first of all, for having me, and it's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon. An imam, literally in Arabic, it's an Arabic word that means leader. Mm-hmm. And in the context of my role, it's religious leader. Similar to pastor or rabbi, an imam leads the Muslim community religiously. Mm-hmm. I serve as the imam of the Islamic Center of Greater Cincinnati in Westchester, Ohio. Mm-hmm. We have a beautiful community and a beautiful mosque, which you have visited, and we've had the honor of hosting you and your fellow colleagues there many times. And we look forward to many more times in the future. Some of the things that an imam does, or myself included, would be I lead prayers. So as Muslims, we pray 5 times a day. And the mosque does have the 5 prayers prayed in congregation at the prayer hall at the mosque. Mm-hmm. The Arabic word for it is masjid, which means place of prostration to God Almighty. I officiate marriages. Mm-hmm. I resolve disputes. I sadly, but necessarily, also manage funerals and provide condolences and support for families. And I visit patients in hospitals. Mm-hmm. I give talks on-site and off-site. I give sermons. Mm-hmm. I give lectures. And answer people's many questions, whether they're Muslim or non-Muslim. People have questions about faith or seek advice, consultation, and I try to be accessible to everyone.
So was there some sort of spiritual pool, if you will, that led you to become an imam and to become so ingrained in your faith?
So it started a long time ago. Mm-hmm. But I would say, if I were to sum it all up, it is none less or other than God's plan for me. Mm-hmm. I couldn't have scripted this. There's no way that I wanted or planned to be an imam. Mm-hmm. But I firmly believe that God Almighty planned my journey for me, mm-hmm. and I'm incredibly grateful for that. I love what I do. I sincerely and deeply love what I do, and I'm humbled and honored to do so, and that doesn't tire me. Mm-hmm. And that's what I believe as the cliche usually is, you don't work if you love what you do. Right. So I love what I do. Thank God for that. But a long time ago, my father is one of the oldest practicing senior imams in the country. Oh. Yep. So close to half a century he's been an imam, leading in the great state of Michigan. And I grew up in that household. And early on, Mom and Dad started educating me, as any Muslim parents do with their children, to learn how to memorize some of the shorter chapters in the Holy Quran, and then study some of their meanings. And then they put me in school for that as well. And at around 13 or so, I was blessed to complete the memorization of the entire Holy Quran by heart.
That is absolutely just astonishing to me.
Thank you. What's interesting is this is not unique to a few individuals.
Okay.
So Muslims are approximately 2 billion strong around the world. And I don't exaggerate when I tell you there are millions, not thousands and not hundreds of thousands. There are millions of Muslims who have memorized the entire Holy Quran by heart, from cover to cover. That's approximately 600 pages of text. And many men and women that have memorized the Holy Quran at various ages. Mostly youngsters that start early and memorize the Holy Quran somewhere in their mid-teens.
Okay.
But I've seen one of our oncologists who was 63 years old when he invited me to his graduation party.
Wow.
Yep, and he was head of his department, practicing physician.
Wow.
And he took the time to memorize the Holy Quran every day at the mosque. After the last final prayer, he would sit there for a couple hours reciting and memorizing and learning. And he would recite to his teacher afterwards. And before you know it, he did it. And my other friend's mom also did it around 64. Yep. So we have, my teacher did it completed when he was 7.
Oh my goodness.
But he's a savant. He's a genius.
Wow.
He's incredibly blessed, and I feel blessed to have him as my teacher. But he had completed the entire memorization of the Holy Quran when he was 7 years of age.
Wow.
So I was around 13.
So you took that foundation and then you went on to the University of Michigan, I understand.
Yes, go blue. In the state of Ohio,
I'm going to be reserved today.
I understand it's a dangerous statement to make, but we are recording in Kentucky.
That's true. So what course of study did you have at Michigan? So
I graduated with a bachelor's degree in computer science,
Okay.
I believe around 2004. I immediately enrolled in Mishkah University. And Mishkah University is an awesome, robust Islamic studies university.
Okay.
And you can earn a bachelor's degree, a master's, a PhD, etc., in various Islamic sciences. So I enrolled in that to study and understand my faith deeper. Not for the purpose of being an imam. And I continued to study with them and learn and learn and learn, and I continue to learn. So this has been going on for probably 22 years now.
Wow.
And just for my own growth. And like I said, God plans, and his plans are the best plans. So eventually, after some time, I became a full-time imam for about 15 years now.
Wow. And have you been at the Greater Cincinnati Islamic Center that whole time?
Not that entire time.
Okay.
So I was the imam of the Noor Islamic Cultural Center in Dublin, Ohio,
Okay.
Columbus area, for about 4 years. Beautiful community and beautiful mosque. And I moved from there to Westchester, Ohio, to serve at the Islamic Center of Greater Cincinnati. June 1st will be 10 years.
Wow.
So
Well,
about a month
congratulations.
from now will be 10 years. Thank you.
And I can say, you have been such an amazing partner with Network for Hope in just coming together to educate your congregation about the organ donation process, and answering questions as it relates to the beliefs of the Muslim community in organ donation. And I think you've done just a wonderful job of being that bridge and trying to help people understand. And so it's been an honor for us to be able to come to the mosque and have those really, I think, just in-depth, honest conversations. And I can appreciate that people just, every year I feel like we get better and better, more in-depth questions about organ donation. So I appreciate that, but I also want to understand what made you decide, this is a topic that we need to learn more about.
First of all, I'm honored to assist and contribute in any small way towards this greater goal of raising awareness and spreading beneficial and useful knowledge in place of assumptions and misconceptions. I speak from experience when I say that I had no clue how most organ gifting and donations, as well as tissue donations, are made. And if I can, I'd say I'm fairly aware and educated. I would say if that's how my experience was prior to meeting the fine folks of Life Center and then becoming Network for Hope, I felt a lot of blanks were filled just by our own assumptions, and oftentimes those were incorrect assumptions. When I was introduced to Audrey, your outreach coordinator, I mean, she was awesome, and I'm indebted to her and all of you for really educating me on the process. Folks like myself can explain things from an Islamic perspective for Muslims and non-Muslims. But the process is, after that, the process is where a lot of fear may take place because people don't know.
Right.
And when we sit with you and others from the fine organization or Network for Hope, you guys explain it to us. You explain the process, how to become a donor, what does it mean to become a donor, how's the entire process made, how family is involved, how there is deep respect and consideration for the person's religion, for their beliefs, their family, their culture, and when that genuine conversation takes place, I believe a lot of those assumptions are gone, and we start to actually build our understanding and future decision making based on proper sound knowledge and information rather than misconceptions. So that's how I was first introduced to learning more about organ and tissue donation. And when I felt that enlightened me tremendously, and I felt that my community needed that same knowledge. And that's why we've done, I think, around 4 or more programs in collaboration with Life Center, which became later Network for Hope, to sit with our community members, present to them the religious perspective and the process, and then answer the many questions they have and put their concerns at ease, and always just let them know that here are the channels for proper information and knowledge, and let's go from there.
Right. And I appreciate, when people have questions or they're unsure about the process, you do such a good job of giving people the information, empowering them, but ultimately making the decision that is best for them. And I think that's so important. I personally, every time we get to come to the mosque and do these, it's like you walk into the room and I just automatically feel this like sense of peace that comes over. And I'm sure you've heard that before, probably from other people, but it's just...
I feel it myself.
Yeah, it is just such like a loving environment. And I don't know if that's... I don't know what that is, but just being there and being in community with everyone, and everyone is so kind. And
Thank
so
you.
being able to be there with you and the rest of the community to talk about such a sensitive issue, I think is so important. And I think it also helps people not to be so fearful, because I think in a way we're kind of peeling back those layers and demystifying it, if you will.
Correct. Thank you for your kind words, and thank God for that mutually peaceful experience that we experience when we walk into God's house.
Yes.
But if I may say that Muslims, from the human being perspective, that fear of transition from this life to the next is always there,
Right.
but it's not there as much as many other faith or non-faith communities, which is very unique, because we know for a fact and have deep conviction that there is a life hereafter,
Right.
and that we are made of a body, flesh, and a soul. And the body may expire, but the soul will continue. And in the life hereafter, we believe in heaven and hell as both real places. But the fact of the matter that we don't have that, fear of talking about death. We actually are recommended to talk more often about death, because it helps us rectify the areas in our lives that need to be rectified in order for us to be better prepared for the inevitable time of leaving this world, in order for us, when we meet our Creator, that He is pleased with us, right? So the reminder here is to help us prepare. So the conversations about death, and when you recite the Holy Quran, you'll always find a reminder about, you will be leaving, and you'll be facing your Lord, and, your good deeds are going to be weighed, and your sins are going to be weighed, and those who've done any good deed, even if it's a small, minute amount, will be placed in the scale. And enough that God Almighty is the one that's holding account, and just so much of that reminder. So how does that translate for organ and tissue donation and that conversation? In my opinion, I feel that we are much more comfortable as Muslims to talk about death and the process than I've seen in many of my non-Muslim friends and counterparts. So so feel more comfortable when you walk into a Muslim community, that the word death and any nuances that it entails is not something foreign, nor is it a taboo for the Muslim community,
Right. Right.
which makes it unique and special.
Yes, absolutely. So, as you have partnered with us over the last few years, is there something that you learned about organ donation was like an aha for you? I didn't know that.
Oh, there are
A
a lot
lot.
of those. A lot of those. You know, before I met you guys, I would be like, okay, how is it done? Are you taking your last final breaths and someone kind of like,
Yes.
rushes you or something, or how does that work? But I've learned it's completely other than that. It actually goes very well so far, the process here in the States, with a lot of the Islamic guidelines, which is fascinating. The definition of someone declared dead, it's almost matching, if not identical,
Right.
to in the Muslim faith, according to Muslim scholars.
Wow.
The respect and consideration you have for the person's end of life decision making on what parts or what organs or what tissue they would like to donate, and how the family is also involved.
Absolutely.
That is so fascinating and comforting. When prior to learning that, none of this was part of our thought process on how this takes
Right,
place.
yeah.
So I feel like there are a lot of moments, and but overall I feel that this work needs to be spread, and awareness needs to be broadly shared and raised, because if we don't have a proper legal option for organ and tissue donations, then the improper and illegal options will thrive.
Right.
And we all know that that's an extremely dangerous thing. So we want to promote the proper option, and hopefully by default that would reduce the improper options that may be out there, to keep everybody safe and
Yes.
promote life.
Yes. And something I've learned in my work and doing this work is, there are countries around the world that they handle organ donation completely differently, and ethically it could look a lot different. And I think sometimes that then brings a certain level of fear and lack of understanding about what the process looks like here in the United States. I've had many conversations with people who may have family who lived in other countries, and they're telling me like, well, no, that's not how the process works in this country, or the country that they're from. And so I think it's important to continue to have these type of conversations so that people here who live here understand what organ donation is and what it isn't, and really dispelling those myths and misconceptions for the process here in the United States. And so I always feel like you do such an exceptional job of taking a topic that is quite frankly complex, and it can be scary in a lot of ways because you are talking about death and dying, but the way that you relate it to the members of your congregation in a way, and connecting it to the Quran, I'm always in awe when I listen to you speak on that.
Yeah, thank you. God says in the Holy Quran, وَمَنْ أَحْيَاهَا فَكَأَنَّمَا أَحْيَا النَّاسَ جَمِيعًا. And one who saves a single life will be as if they have saved the lives of the entire human race. One who saves one single life will be as if they have saved the lives of all of humanity. And many Muslim scholars believe that's the reward that you will receive for donating and promoting life and donating organs and tissue. I'm honored to support this beautiful work.
Thank you.
And I pray and hope that more information is shared and more awareness is spread regarding the process, from how
Right.
ethical and beautiful it is to be placed on the recipient list,
Right.
regardless if you're a donor or not, and all the other matters that are taken into consideration for the person that is a recipient and
Right.
for the person that is a generous
Right.
donor. And I believe if this model is understood properly and continue to be protected and supported and refined ethically, it will not only survive, but it will thrive. And personally, I'm unaware of the models outside the States. But perhaps that'll be my next area of growth and learning from you. If you can, in the future, educate me on some of the differences and similarities between how the process is here in the States and in comparison to many other countries around the world, and see how we can learn a few things, perhaps, and also how we can appreciate a few things as well.
Right. I agree. So thank you for that answer, and for that beautiful chant. I thought that was
Recitation.
recitation.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that. I want to take just a transition. I've seen like just you stand with the community. You stand with other faith leaders in this community. We've seen it. I admire you for that courage when there's just, things happening around us that are unjust. But what is that like for you, like to be that voice in representing people? For instance, like there have been people, ICE detainees who've been, quite frankly, put in jail for it's just wrong. But what does that mean for you to stand with others of different faiths and be able to walk that and show support?
So, as a Muslim, I am also a human being. And myself and my Muslim community live as a part of a larger community. And we all must live happily and peacefully side by side. And matters that harm any part of us or any particular community or sub-community, we all need to stand together as a matter of principle when it comes to combating any type of racism or supremacy or injustice, poverty, homelessness, whatever we may be facing as challenges as a larger and greater society. It affects everybody. Poverty
Right.
doesn't know a particular, segment of the community. Also matters that are mutually important. I think everybody needs to stand together. So from that perspective, I believe in working together as faith leaders
Right.
and non-faith leaders to support common goals and objectives. I'm not for just the photo ops and the
Right.
whole idea of like kumbaya. Like that to me is almost just it's it lacks objective and it lacks goal sharing. I am for having a specific goal to work with and work for. Let's all together come together and let's feed the homeless. Let's perhaps build homes. Let's perhaps support mental health care, from raising awareness to like offering the services and maybe communicating with our political leaders to promote mental health support and working with the insurance providers and perhaps with different nonprofits to support that. Wages and with consideration for both entrepreneurs and the employees.
Right.
This is, yeah, I believe a balance in our approach is incredibly important. We need to promote people's well-being on all fronts, not just one front versus the other, as how we've been conditioned to be pinned against each other for many of those matters. I feel that faith leaders and non-faith leaders, when they come together to confront or address a particular issue, injustice, it doesn't matter who that person is.
Exactly.
It's important for us to have and work very hard to pursue justice in our society and community. Injustice will affect everybody, and I believe we all have these common goals. And if we work together on these common goals, I think our work would be much more unified and effective.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just I just appreciate seeing you out in front and just really modeling the way in many aspects for the people in your congregation. I think that's so important, and just for the entire community. And so I just want to commend you for that, and doing that. I know you have so many responsibilities, but you mentioned mental health, and I know we've talked in the past about We've seen this surge or just mental health with young people in particular. And can you talk about the work that the center is doing in that aspect?
Yes, we have an awesome mental health care team, and various ages, men and women, professionals in the field, and ordinary, I would say extraordinary, community members, family members that also have faced or continue to deal with mental health challenges, if I may. And this rich group or a group with rich experiences and backgrounds come together to raise awareness and try to address the need or needs for the many segments of our community. And we're hopefully working on a production of a podcast that would help reach more community members to address and raise awareness and address this matter. But as Imam, I would say from my experience, I see widows and widowed individuals and community members that cry. Like someone in their 70s sitting, having coffee with me and just pouring their heart out and telling me how deeply they miss their spouse. And you can see, the genuineness as well as the deep sadness that a person in that situation is communicating. Oftentimes our elderly are forgotten.
Very much so.
I'm all for serving all segments of the community, but quite frequently, a lot of focus and resources are provided for the youth, as it's a catchy phrase, and that's the fad or popular thing to focus on these days. And I'm all for supporting the youth, but I believe there are other segments in our community who are equally suffering or equally need our resources and support, and that was one of them. We have divorcees. A lot of times with sometimes our own created idealism. A person gets married once and that's the love of their lifetime. This whole Hollywood narrative, that's not the reality that's out there. People go through relationships and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they have to go through multiple, tries and experiences, and eventually they get to, or may not sometimes. But the idea is here, we need to also be aware and support, a lady that may have 2-3 children. Her husband died,
Right.
And she was a stay-at-home mom, and she didn't have a chance to build a career. And who's going to be there to support such a family, right? Or folks that we may not invite to dinner at our homes because we don't know them, and they are barely making it because they have a job or no job that basically earns minimum wage, and they're not in the in circle, if I may. And how are folks like that going to be also reached and supported? Right. We have the weight crisis that many of us face, and it's important to address that from a healthy, proper, and holistic perspective on how we can support and promote not only mental health but also physical health, and also understand how folks that are dealing with such challenges are their experiences like, and what they're how they feel and what challenges they may have. I think it's important to address the many needs and many segments in our community when it comes to mental health, and when it comes to their various needs, whether it's they're young, they're youth, they're elderly, lonely, their friends are passing away one after the other. There's so much there, and we cannot just go with what the culture or what society says or does, because who's not popular these days, right? They don't get a lot of our attention. And it's important for us as community leaders to genuinely reflect on the various community members that live among us and try to support them in the ways that they need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. I think that's so important. And to your point, I think our senior community who is such, that to me, like we should treasure them and honor them. And so often we forget them because the focus tends to be on everyone else. And also just, I think what you said is a great reminder that we are not meant to be in this life alone, that we are meant to be in community with one another, to support, to listen, because everyone is battling something. And so to know that they can speak to you or speak to other people within their circles of influence, or I think is so important, and just reminding them that they matter. And that's just a very good reminder. So thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Well, I could talk to you all day, but unfortunately we can't. We've got to wind down our time, but it is always an honor to be in your presence. I just listening to you and just kind of how you view the world and just people and the importance of just, I think all of us just trying to be good human beings and leave this world a better place. But you just, again, you always bring such a sense of peace.
Thank you.
And we appreciate you. And Cincinnati is very lucky to have you.
Thank you very much. And I'm honored to be with you, and I'm honored to speak on this wonderful podcast.
Thank you.
And support your goal and your mission as folks that support life.
Yes.
And also manage the organ and tissue donation process ethically and respectfully. And I would love to continue to support in any small way for this mission to continue, and for our community or various communities to feel that we're one voice promoting life.
Yes.
And standing with each other in good times, but also in challenging times.
Yes. Well, Imam Musa, thank you for being a voice of hope and being with us in this journey to educate and empower people about organ, tissue, and eye donation.
Thank you, and thank you and your team for educating me and my community on the
Absolutely.
process, and continue to learn and grow together.
Absolutely. Well, as we conclude our time today, I want to thank the Imam again for joining me in this wonderful conversation about organ donation and education, and, quite frankly, topics that are intertwined that aren't directly related to organ donation, but I think it is all very important. As we close today, I want to remind you that there are more than 108,000 people who are waiting for a life-saving organ transplant. And today, 13 people will die because that call did not come in time for them. I encourage you to learn more about organ donation. You could do so at networkforhope.org. And if you feel compelled to register to be a donor, you can go to registerme.org today. But again, it's conversations like this that I think just lead to people learning more and educating and empowering themselves. So again, thank you. I just want to remind everyone to please be kind to yourself and to others. Take care.
Thank you for listening to This Thing Called Life. Subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your favorite podcast to make sure you get updates on all new episodes. And we would truly appreciate it if you would share, like, or give us a review to help us grow.